What is energy crisis? Energy crisis is happening around the world and most countries aren't doing anything to prevent it. The world's demands on the limited natural resources that are used to power industrial society are diminishing as the demand rises. These non-renewable resources such as coal, crude oil, fossil fuels, and gasoline are becoming very limited. Since they do occur naturally, it usually takes hundreds of thousands of years to make and replenish these resources. Since the energy crisis is a broad and complex topic, most people don't feel concerned or don't even care about it. The energy crisis is something that is ongoing and isn't going to stop until the government takes initiative. Some causes of this energy crisis include overconsumption, which is an abundant amount of a particular resource and is going to quickly run out if nothing is done about it. This could include oil, gas, and coal. Another cause would be overpopulation, because when population increases, the need for resources also increases as well. Waste of energy is also another part of the energy crisis, because people don't realize how much they waste energy and how fast it can run out. With all these causes, the government still doesn't do anything about the crises. Most people in America don't even realize there are countless forms of alternative energy that would eventually solve this problem and help the world. Even though some countries know about renewable resources, they still use non-renewable resources, and coal is still the #1 resource in the world. If the world would focus its attention on renewable resources, then it would be a far better place than it is right now. Renewable energy sources can reduce our dependency on fossil fuels and also helps to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Some renewable resources include tidal power, wave power, solar power, wind power, hydroelectricity, radiant energy, geothermal power, biomass, compressed natural gas, and nuclear power are just a few of the renewable energy resources that we could be harnessing. Tidal power, which has to do with the ocean, is when you harness the power of the currents and transform it into usable energy. Wave power also is part of the ocean as well, but it uses the waves on top of the ocean and converts that into energy. Solar power is when you use photovoltaic cells and harness the sun's energy from the sun's rays, and it turns it into electricity. This is one of the fastest growing renewable energy today, but it's still not fast enough. Wind power harnesses the wind energy using wind turbines to transform the wind into usable energy, while hydroelectricity uses the flow of water to generate energy using a dam, which is typically used in rivers or lakes and some streams. Radiant energy uses transmitters and receivers to create electricity. It's also self-powered and very efficient. Geothermal energy is very environmentally friendly and an efficient way to extract renewable energy from the earth. It uses the heat and gas within the earth to power generators, and it converts that to energy. The downside to that, though, is that it has to be in a plate tectonic boundary. And the biomass is the burning of living and recently dead biological material and using the fuel to power industrial facilities. Compressed natural gas is kind of like other fossil fuels or gases, but it just doesn't release a lot of greenhouse gases into the air and pollutes it. So it's a lot better than fossil fuels. Nuclear power is any nuclear technology designed to extract usable energy from atomic nuclei using controlled nuclear reactions. Many controversies concerning the use of nuclear power have prevented it from being used, even though it's a sustainable energy source that reduces carbon emissions and increases energy security by decreasing dependency on foreign oil. Personally, though, I prefer solar and wind energy because they can both be used on a daily basis, and it's far better than any other ones, especially fossil fuels, coal, and other stuff that produce greenhouse gases. But like fossil fuels, some renewable resources do have their problems as well. Most of the resources are very dependent on weather and location of power plants. A vast majority of people arguing over the pros and cons of these renewable resources are going on. Some pros can include stable energy prices, continual source of energy, reliability, low greenhouse gas emissions, large-scale job creations, low-cost operations, and micro-station options are possible. Although some cons include the high development cost, vulnerability to weather and other climate occurrences, being unable to produce large quantities of electricity, some of the resources will not be available in certain locations as well, and in order to produce large amounts of electricity, especially for solar power and wind farms, it would require a large area of land to use. And even though some of these pros and cons outweigh each other, they could always do something to counter the cons. I believe that if the government were to fund these resources, it would create a far cleaner and better America. Thank you for your time.
Yay.